It's currently January 2023 here on Llewellyn, so Happy New Year to you all. The weather is still cold, wet and windy, but the refit is well underway, so I thought I'd show you how we're getting along and even take you through one of the jobs. We've also managed to get out and about to show you what Portsmouth has on offer, so why don't you come along and see what we've been up to. This morning we're here at Portsmouth Dockyard to see the Mary Rose and HMS Victory, which are homed in the dry dock of the Naval Museum. The Mary Rose was the flagship of Henry VIII's Navy, carrying over 70 guns and 400 men. She sank when she performed a sharp turn while her lower gun covers were open. Water rushed into the gun deck and she sank within minutes, only a handful of crew surviving. She was raised in the 80s and is now housed in a purpose-built facility where you can still see many of the artefacts that went down with the boat. These include the obvious guns, but also items which would normally perish, like rope and the seaman's chest. Even the ship's dog was recovered. So if you want to immerse yourself in a little Tudor history, then this is well worth a visit. But this is what I've come to see. I remember my first visit to the Victory on a school trip when I was about 9, and it still holds a fascination as a piece of history. Victory had 104 heavy guns spread over 3 gun decks, each with its own gun crew of about 5 to 8 men, meaning there was over 800 men on the Victory when it was in service. Most of the men would sleep and eat and work around their guns when not performing other duties. Interestingly, for the time, the food on board was extremely good and far better than people living at home. The ship's purser was 67 during the Battle of Trafalgar, which shows what good food can really do. The rest of the lower decks housed the armoury, general stores, the surgery, and all the food, beer and rum rations to support such a large crew. It was down here that Nelson uttered those famous words, "Kiss me, Hardy," before dying and being pickled in some of that rum for the journey home. Still very creepy now. Back on deck, much of the rigging and mast have been removed and will be replaced with something much lighter, as the original was beginning to break the back of the Victory. Well, we're back on board and I've finally managed to finish the alternator install. It's taken in excess of 6 months because of some problems we've had, but come and have a look and see. So here we are in the engine room, and what we've installed here is a Bulmer 250 amp alternator, along with a wake speed regulator. So the regulator, I don't know if you can see that very well, is up here, and what that does is it gives us the ability to put charging profiles for lithium batteries. In addition to that, I can also regulate back the alternator itself. So instead of actually running at 250 amps, which is what she's rated at, I've actually limited her to 150 amps. This makes sure that all the cabling I've got here can actually take it, and it means I also don't overstress the alternator itself. That said, the challenges of putting it in were interesting. Firstly, the serpentine kit that was sent turned out to be for a different engine, so needed to be replaced. Even though the next kit was for our engine, a discussion with Bulmer revealed the D255F doesn't require it, so they've never tested it. Guess what? It doesn't line up. Finally, when we sorted all this out, the alternator housing had a crack in the foot, so when I went to install it, the back fell off. I have to say, Richard at RJS Marine has been absolutely fantastic. They took back all the redundant parts and even replace the alternator under warranty. So thanks Richard, we finally got there. Lithium batteries, and I have to say, with the prep we've done, it was a much quicker install. Just requiring some new cables and connectors, a quick configuration of our multiplus and our alternator for lithium profiles, and we now have 11 kilowatts of off-grid power. I think it's time for another day trip. Good morning. Today we're back at the Naval Museum to see the HMS Warrior. This is a behemoth of a ship at 127 metres long. Compare that to Victory at a mere 69 metres long and you get an idea of the scale. She had 3 masts as well as a steam engine and was crewed by more than 600 men. This is one of the apprentices.
Let it go!
Warrior had 116 guns, 80 of which were housed on a single gun deck behind armour plating, making her impervious to cannon fire at the time. Each gun could be moved in an arc, effectively making them aim independently. The engine itself was a huge 2-cylinder trunk steam engine, which got its power from 10 boilers, which required the stock of over 850 tonnes of coal, which gave the Warrior a top speed of 16 knots. Because of her size and armament, the Warrior never needed to fire her guns in anger. While over here, we decided to take a harbour tour for a look around some of the current fleet of warships.
Can hold up to 40 aircrafts on board, both planes and helicopters. The helicopters shall carry Merlins, Wildcats, Apaches and the twin-rotor Chinook helicopters. The planes shall carry Lockheed Martin's F-35B Lightning II fighter jets. Arguably one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world, certainly one of only 4 fifth-generation fighter jets in the world to date. We have 6 of these in the Royal Navy, 5 of which actually in Portsmouth Harbour today. So you have the Defender just to your right hand side, and we have the Dauntless directly up ahead of us. The other 3 in the harbour, the Dragon, the Diamond and the Daring.
And finally, quick stop to see the Spinnaker Tower from Wood. We're installing our diesel polishing system, and while it's arguably less important today that we install this, as we start adding more and more biodiesel to our fuel, and as we start moving off into countries where the diesel becomes more and more suspect, I thought it would probably be a really good idea to be a bit more proactive on keeping our diesel clean. Polishing system we've gone for, it's actually by a company called 16 Marine, and it's a diesel dipper. Went for this one because it's essentially the smallest thing we could find. Most of the others have large filters, etc. And whilst not cheap, we think we can probably fit it inside the engine bay. In addition to the dipper itself, we've obviously got some marine pipe and some fittings. So let's get it in. Right. So the first thing we've got to do is we're going to line it up, and we've kind of decided to fit it here because it's inside the engine bay, it's away from everything else, it's not likely to get hit because it is a little bit delicate, and it's relatively compact, so it shouldn't be an issue. Right, so what I've got to do is mark these. Unfortunately, I wanted to put bolts through, but I've realised that the other side is the shower. I'll end up with holes going right through into the shower. That's not good. Water going into the engine room. So we're going to have to drill and fix it here, and then and use self-tappers. But let's see how that goes. If it falls off, then I'll have to come up with some other idea. Refit. Make sure we don't screw right through into the shower, and that will be bad. This one. Right, so that's fairly well fixed. Now we just got to install the pipework, cabling, electrics. How hard can it be? Now it's just a matter of reaching the pipework. So I'm going to go down there. So there we go. Put this onto here. Right, so we'll need some circlips. Now we install the pipework, and obviously with all good designs, that's 2 circlips opposite each other. There we go. That's one. And the second one here. There we go, yeah, down. And then again. What we might do is line them up. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And leave these up here, like so. I'll have to put a clip on there just to keep those pipes in place. Yeah. Looking pretty good. So here we are in the stern locker where we've got the diesel tank, and interestingly with the Bavaria you've got the these entry points which are really useful. So over on this side we have the diesel in for the engine. This is the return for the engine. This one here is for the diesel heater, and we have 2 spares. And what we can do is we can take these blanks and unscrew them, okay, which gives us the ability to remove those blanks. And as you can see in here we have a brass screw insert, which is really useful. So what I'm going to be able to do is use both of these, one to draw the diesel into the diesel polisher from the bottom of the tank and suck it up, and then return it back through here. So that will give us the ability to use the whole system out of the main circuit, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. Right, so a little bit of thread seal on here. There you go. And then screw said item into here. hopefully, when we tighten up this, we can drop this down. Oh, no, we can't. Okay, we have a problem, Houston. Okay, so what's the problem? This is the problem here. You can see the actual pipe won't go all the way through. Okay, and I need it to run down to actually then suck up the liquid from the bottom. And the reason being is, I'm not quite sure if you can see that, there's actually a collar in there, which I'm going to have to drill out to allow me to then pass it right the way through. Story of my life at the moment. Sharper drill might be better. And there we go, and there we go. It now passes right through, so we can now run it right the way down to the bottom. We'll cut a little V on the bottom there, allowing us to suck up the diesel from the bottom. Excellent. Now just clean the swarf up. Okay. Okay, so now we have a 45 degree on the end, just need to clean it up. Okay, so when it touches the bottom, it can still suck the fuel up without actually being blocked. For future reference, I need to get a vise. See you on the inside. Finally, you put the dipper in, right down to the bottom. Yep, it's touching the bottom there. And we should be able to tighten this one up. There we go. That's now nice and tight. I should be able to now put this pipe on here. And then finally this one. Slide this on. And tighten them up. That's it. Now we need to do is test it for leaks. So this has been wired onto the main house batteries, so we can run it even when we're on anchor. So the main switch is here. Let's see what happens. Taps off, everything's tight. Go. It seems to be sucking. And there the fluid goes. Look at that. And she's running. Okay. Let's leave her running for 10 minutes and see what happens. It's been running for about 10 minutes. We just turned it off. Interestingly, there seems to be a space in the top here. There wasn't before. So let's pour some. No, let's first of all break the seal at the top here. Okay, and then drain off. Let's turn that. Let's have a look. Looks pretty good, to be honest. It looks very good.
Next time, we leave Luena for a month and head off to Canada.
where we embark on ice walking with frozen waterfalls, try our hand at snowshoes,
Enjoy.
go dog sledding and much more. Until then, stay safe.